Don't forget that your skin is your largest organ, and the sun can be your skin's worst enemy. Dermatologist recommended Neutrogena products offer the ultimate protection for your skin. From makeup remover wipes to Hydro Boost Water Gel Facial Moisturizer, BJ's has your entire lineup of Neutrogena skincare products. And now through December 3rd, save $4 on any Neutrogena product at BJ's. Love your skin back and save now through December 3rd, only at BJ's.
Hello and welcome to History for Weirdos.
We're your hosts, Andrew
and Stephanie.
And each week, we're going to take you on a journey into the strange, obscure, and relentlessly entertaining corners of human history.
Now listen up, friends, because it's about to get weird. What's up, weirdos? Welcome to another episode of the History for Weirdos podcast with me, Stephanie.
And your boy, Andrew.
And we are so excited to have you listening like we are every week. Still in quarantine.
Still in quarantine, week 1,000,001.
Hanging in there just like you all are, listening to audiobooks and podcasts and taking a lot of walks.
Exactly. I've gotten really into Harry Potter, and I wonder where I got that inspiration from.
I have no idea.
I have to think about this for a second. I'm going to say it's you.
Yeah, I've been badgering Andrew for like a year now to reread the Harry Potter books, and we actually own them all on Audible. And he quarantine finally made him do it. He's been listening to them, and you're hooked, right?
Yeah, I'm hooked. I'm already on The Prisoner of Azkaban, which is the third book. For all you uncultured folk out there.
Yeah. Totally recommend. This is such a good time to listen to the books, and the voice actor that does it for Audible,
Jim Dale
is amazing.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. In fact, I didn't realize how good the books were, and honestly how better the books are than the movies. And that's not even like anything against the movies themselves.
Right.
I think they're done pretty well.
They're good movies.
But the books are just next level. You couldn't make a movie. You couldn't ever really truly do it justice.
No.
Unless you wanted to make like every single movie like 4 hours long.
At least.
And
yeah.
I think even then there are still things you'd have to cut out.
Absolutely. So if you're looking for something that's like really comforting and entertaining, we totally recommend listening to the Harry Potter books.
Exactly.
We're actually thinking of doing a little video or something soon on some of the historical connections to Harry Potter characters.
Yes.
So let us know if that sounds interesting.
I think that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I might be biased, though.
Of course. But in the meantime, this week, Andrew is going to regale us with a wonderfully weird historical tale.
Ooh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I do have a story prepared.
Oh, good.
This one's interesting.
Otherwise, it would have been a really boring episode.
I know, it would just be like, so, how about them Chargers? Or
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they stink still.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a pretty interesting story, though. It's, unfortunately for you, it's about in the world of sports.
Oh, great.
But, fortunately for you, it's not quite a sport that really is done anymore. So
okay, so it might
it's
be a
kind
good
of
one.
weird. It's very interesting and pretty obscure.
I am ready.
Okay. So before I even get into it, I'm citing my sources because screw you, Levi. Screw you, Stephanie. I'm not getting made fun of. So I have...
Someone is very sensitive.
Yeah. My feelings haven't been hurt. That's not it. It's not it at all. Okay, so... we have Ancient Origins, The Telegraph, A Good Paper from Valencia College, Vintage News, and our favorite, Wikipedia.
I've been actually wanting to look at Vintage News more. I've heard really good things about it.
I do like Vintage News a lot. It's really cool. I'm a huge fan. Okay,
cool.
So I'm going to go and I'm going to tell the story of the richest athlete of all time.
Oh, boy.
The richest athlete. And you know what? When you think of, like, when you look at, like, all of, like, the richest athletes of all time, like, one thing that stuck out to me was, like of the top 10, like, most of them were American. What do you
That
think?
makes sense.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm
Yeah.
not really that surprised. What do you think the nationality was, though, of the richest? I'll give you a hint. It's not American.
It's Roman.
God damn.
I live with you.
I must have told you this already.
Yes, of course. You've told me it. You've showed me memes about it. You've talked
Quarantine's
about this.
driven me insane. Okay.
You're also an ancient Rome fiend, so of course it's going to be Rome.
I know. Yeah, so a quick aside. Before I started the Harry Potter series, I was hooked on the History of Rome podcast by Mike Duncan. Highly suggest it if you haven't.
That's also amazing, yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to it, it gives you the history of Rome from like
Romulus
the
and
legendary,
Remus.
even before that, Aeneas, like who fled the city of Troy, who was the quote unquote like many times great grandfather of Romulus and Remus,
Right.
all the way up until the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD. So quite a bit of history. He's very entertaining. There's almost 200 episodes. I learned so much, and I already felt like I knew a lot about ancient Rome, and he taught me so much more. It was great.
Did he talk about this athlete in one of the episodes?
He did not.
Oh,
He did not
interesting.
talk about this guy. So
well, I'm ready. Despite the fact that this is sports related, I'm ready to learn.
It's pretty interesting, even if you're not into sports. And Mike Duncan, if you're out there, I love you. Anyways.
Oh my gosh, babe, I'm right here.
Okay, so our boy, his name is Gaius Appius Diocles, and from now on, I'm just going to call him Diocles because that's way too much.
No, I demand you use his full name.
No, his name's Diocles.
Okay.
So he was born in approximately 104 AD in Lamisum, the Roman province of Lusitania, which is now Lamago, Portugal.
Oh, okay.
So, and also just a quick background about this time period. This was during the time period known as Pax Romana. Mm-hmm. So roughly 200 years of just prosperous time, and is easily the most prosperous time in Roman history, which, started from the ascendancy of Augustus Caesar in around 30 BC to around, roughly 280.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And by mean peace and prosper, it was like peace and prospers within the inner
empire.
The inner parts of the empire, not the outer parts where there's always war going on. War, especially during this time, wars of conquest.
Yeah, that to Romans was good times of peace and prosperity.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
So, and in fact, by the time our boy Gaius or Diocles, excuse me, you killed me right there. By the time Diocles would be 13, Rome would actually reach its territorial pinnacle.
Okay.
In 117 AD under the reign of Trajan. Yes. Yeah. Basically, at this point, Rome was the undisputed master of not only the Mediterranean, but pretty much anything east of Britain and anything west of Mesopotamia.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Insane.
That's such a massive spread of land. That's crazy to think about.
It is. And this political and commercial stability would lay the foundation for Diocles to do what he did. Because, people in the inner empire aren't worried about invasion or anything. They're like, let's just, eat some grain and, let's go to the Circus Maximus and watch some races.
Yeah, so entertainment things go up when the economy's good.
Right, and there's stability. Mm-hmm. So, let's go back to our boy, Diocles. He's also known as Lamachus. That was his, kind of...
like a stage name?
Yeah, exactly.
Lamachus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Based off of, the city he was from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So his father was kind of middle class, maybe lower middle class. He owned a small transport business, and the family was, comparatively well off.
Right. I mean, for
the time. Yeah. Diocles is believed to have started racing at the age of 18 in present-day Catalonia, Spain.
Oh, that's so crazy to think about.
And his first notable victory outside his native land brought him international fame, or, national fame, right?
Right.
And encouraged him to go to Rome.
Wow.
So, yeah, around 18, 19 years old, he went to Rome.
So, what his sport was?
Chariot. Oh, my God, I didn't even go into it. His sport was chariot racing.
Okay, because you said racing, and I was like,
Yes.
obviously not cars.
Yeah, definitely not cars. It was he was mostly known for like kind of like I forgot what the term is, but like 4-horse chariot racing.
Okay, so they distinguish between like 1,
Yes.
2, 4. Oh,
There
I
was
didn't know
multiple.
that.
Yeah, 4 was kind of like the main event.
Okay, because it would have gone very fast.
Yeah, it would have gone fast, and you have to have like good control over like the animals and all that.
Right,
stuff.
it's more skilled.
It is absolutely
Okay.
And leading into that,
Yes.
chariot racing, especially 4-horse chariot racing, was extremely dangerous. Many chariot racers died in the middle of races being trampled or run over.
No.
Yeah, it was not a fun way to go, if you ask me.
Oh my gosh, no, that sounds like a terrible way to go.
It does. You know, in fact, actually, fun fact, all charioteers carried knives with them when they raced. Not as, like, weapons, but to be used as tools of survival. So, let's just say, like, imagine this.
Okay.
You're racing, you're having a good time, then all of a sudden, bam! You're thrown off your chariot, and to make matters worse, you're being dragged along by the very rope that you're using to command the horses, right?
Yeah.
And it's wrapped around your arm or leg, and you're getting dragged along. You would need that knife, essentially, to cut the rope.
Okay.
And that's what it was used for.
But then you cut the rope and you might get trampled by the person that, say you
If
were
they're
ahead
like
of
right,
someone.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, again, it was very dangerous.
That must have been so scary. Imagine, just knowing that it's imminent.
Right.
Ugh.
Well, and in fact, and this is why many, and if not most, racers would not live long enough
Oh my
in
God.
order to retire as, you
Oh
know,
my
at a
God.
quote-unquote old age.
No way.
Yeah. So, brief synopsis, or somewhat brief synopsis of his career.
Yes.
Once he got to Rome, Diocles began driving for the quote-unquote white team.
Okay.
There was essentially during his time, there was 4 main, like, it was kind of like stables, I suppose, like teams, right?
That's so cute.
Yeah, and it was based off colors. There was the whites, the greens, the reds, and the something else.
Okay.
There was another one as well. It was actually pretty similar to present-day Formula 1 in Europe.
What?
Yeah, I know. Like, in the way it was structured, right? Obviously, the machine's very different.
Very similar. I see no difference. Horsepower.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, these teams, like stables, invested in the training and development of, you know, horses and equipments.
Wow.
Yeah, with the players and, you know, the lowest team, the white team, usually drawn from, like, the low orders of society.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, and so
low orders meaning like social rank?
yes, like what they weren't even called
Like-
this at the time, but the plebeians, right?
Yeah, like a class system.
Yeah. By this time, the plebeians and patricians, that thing had
It's
was
over.
by the wayside. But it would be like the lower class essentially. So interestingly, so Diocles, he joined the white team when he first got to Rome, and he didn't win his first race until 2 years after he started to compete.
What?
But he lived.
But he
so
lived.
That's also winning, right?
That's definitely winning. Staying alive.
Yeah. So, being a natural charioteer, Diocles was called up to the greens at the age of 24.
Oh, moving up to the
Yeah, he's
greens.
moving on up, and then transferred to the reds at 27.
Okay. So he's got like slow, steady growth.
He does, yes.
That's good. That
well-
reminds us that you don't need like instant success.
Yeah, like
You
it took him a
didn't-
couple years, but actually, though, it's funny you mentioned that because it was a bold move going from the greens to the reds because the greens were actually the most popular team.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Probably because they have represented.
they were like probably like, you know, there was
Upper middle
never
class?
yeah, and that's kind of where, you know,
Yeah.
but you know, the upper class wouldn't participate in this. They
Yeah.
would be charioteers that would look down upon.
Right.
You know, some historians, though, the reason why, you know, his switch happened is because some historians speculate that that Diocles switched from the popular greens to the reds because he would achieve more wealth and glory that way.
Okay.
And
like he would be the star.
exactly, the greens were undoubtedly the most popular and attracted the greatest racers. But by switching to the red team, Diocles ensured that he would stand out as the greatest of the reds and reap the financial benefits that would come along with that.
Ooh, I feel like there's some sort of connection to LeBron James in this. I know nothing of sports, but I know he's also a strategic man in that way, right?
Yes. You know what? That's actually... I didn't make that parallel when I was doing my research, but now that you say it, it does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I can mess with that.
Sports.
You sported, babe.
You know, I was going to do a sports metaphor and nothing came to mind. Please keep going.
Okay, so many of his victories, this is actually pretty cool. So, like, a lot of his victories came from the form of a come-from-behind win.
Ooh.
So he would cross the finish line at the last possible moment.
So there's added drama to it.
Exactly, which made him an instant fan favorite.
Of course. Who doesn't love the tension?
And of course, just all the crowds loved it.
Yeah.
In fact, any race with Diocles quickly became the featured event of the day.
Wow.
Yes. And this naturally helped Diocles make even more money. Make that cash money, son.
He had a brand.
Absolutely did he.
That's amazing.
I know. He was
very
a smart man.
thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely understood, I think, branding, and that wasn't even a thing back then.
Right, but he's like, this is what the audience loves.
Exactly.
The underdog coming from behind, winning last minute. I'm going to play that up, and I'm going to get a following, and I'm going to be the big fish on this Reds team.
Exactly.
Also, very creative team names.
I know. The green team, the red team. It's like, wow.
Like a 5-year-old naming their team.
Seriously. It literally does remind me of a 5-year-old just naming teams. So, again, I think it's safe to say that he had, quote-unquote, skills that kills.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I actually wrote that in my notes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was going to tell you, you can edit that out.
Oh, no.
That was intentional?
That was intentional.
Okay.
I really wanted to say that. I haven't said something like that since I probably was in high school. Anyways, moving on. So he would remain on the red team for the remainder of his career, and which was another whopping 15 years.
What?
And he would retire at the age of 42, which was old.
That's so
for
old.
chariot racing.
That's old for any athlete.
Yeah, even for nowadays for football, the only people that last that long are kickers. And then in the NBA, that's just ancient.
Yes.
I don't think
the wear and tear on your body.
Oh, I know. So, and he had a record amount of winnings. And over his career, he won an astounding 1,462 races, and he placed in an additional 1,438 races, often coming in second.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So basically and this was out of a total of 4,257 races spanning a career of over 20 years. So basically, just off that math, he placed either first, second, or sometimes third in over half of his races.
Yeah, so he was incredibly talented.
Absolutely.
He was very good at this.
He was very good. His career winnings were about 36 million sesterces, which according to Professor because that's okay, great. What does that mean?
Right.
So according to Professor Peter Struck, the undergraduate chair of classical studies at the University of Chicago, he said that's worth approximately $15 billion in today's money.
What?
15 bills.
Can you imagine living in this era with that much money?
I literally cannot imagine that.
In any era with that much money, actually.
Oh,
but
man.
For them,
the TikTok videos we could make.
Oh my God. Anyway,
Sorry,
he probably he would have lived like an emperor.
Yeah. Oh no, that's actually funny you say that because his total take home amounted to 5 times the earnings of the highest paid provincial governors over a similar period, and it was enough money to provide grain for the entire city of Rome for 1 year.
Oh my God!
To pay all the ordinary soldiers of the Roman army at the height of its imperial reach for about 2 to 3 months.
Oh my God.
The entire army for months. I can pay the entire army for about 1 second.
No, you can't.
And I don't think that's even true. So, so that's just kind of to put it in perspective.
Right.
This dude made bank. He got that cheddar.
That's insane. I wonder what he did. Did he party? Was he charitable?
You know what? It's so annoying. I couldn't find anything. Basically, after he retires, he just drops off the historical record. We do know that he and his kids like retired outside the city.
Had kids.
Yeah, he had kids, and he bought like a very large estate. They made some statues of him. You know, did his like dope stuff. And just kind of chilled for the rest of his life, which I definitely like. I support that. I feel that. But
I mean, he didn't have to work.
No, he had so much money, he didn't know what to do with it.
His kids didn't have to work, I assume.
Oh yeah, $15 billion. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, if that was, I don't know anything.
So fascinating. I would love to know. And of course, they wouldn't. No way would anyone back then think to have recorded something like this. But just kind of like what he was like as a person. Like, what were his goals? What were his dreams? Like, did he love racing because of like the business strategy behind what he was doing, or did he just love the thrill of racing? Like, I don't know. So many things.
It might have been a little bit of both, but I think from what I read is he loved being like the center of attention. He was kind of like a performer.
Oh,
like at heart.
I know someone that's very similar to that. I don't know if you know him.
I don't think I do actually.
He's wearing like a collared button-down shirt that has Ron Swanson on it with America made out of meat, some flags, and whiskey printed all over it.
Well, it sounds like a really awesome person.
He's very subtle.
Very
understated
subtle.
Elegance. His name's Andrew Iverson.
Doesn't ring a bell. Well, basically, this wealth that he got back to Diocles, I'm just ignoring what you're saying, it eclipsed, like, by far more than any other athlete, and it's not even close.
Right? I don't think any athlete has gotten close to that.
And you know what's amazing about this is that, like, they didn't have kind of the more advanced deal making that we have now, right? Like,
that's a
athletes could have endorsements, or
right? Like, he's not going to be on cereal boxes.
Yeah, exactly. Like endorsements, or like maybe he could pivot his career into like acting or something.
Yes,
like you've seen LeBron James do a little bit.
He's not going to make like Air Jordans.
Yeah, exactly. Or like before Kobe died, may he rest in peace. He created his own like venture capital firm.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. There was nothing else.
Yeah, he had nothing else. It was just this $15 billion, just from this.
Just from that. That is so nuts.
So dope, like so dope.
I would have loved to have watched him race. Like, if we ever get to time travel, put it on the list.
We're going to the Circus Maximus. We were absolutely not going to the Coliseum because gladiator fighting is abhorrent.
Oh my god!
And sometimes they kill animals. That's even worse.
No, I'd rather watch chariot stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. And, yeah.
Pretty horses running around in a circle.
Yeah.
Super
it'd
cool.
be pretty awful if we did see someone get trampled to death, though.
I feel like if we get to time travel at all to ancient Rome, we're going to see some pretty awful things.
Oh, yeah. We're
just
like
walking down the street.
Oh, I know.
And it's going to smell really bad.
I know. That's honestly like holding me back. If
from
we
time
ever,
travel?
Yeah, from time travel. Not like the quantum
smell?
physics or anything like that. I have that down. It's just the smell.
The smells are going to be
It's going
awful.
to really disappoint me. Be like, guys, you like invented
Take a
aqueducts.
shower.
Yeah, you have complex road systems. Why can't you just take a shower, wear some deodorant? Like, come on, people. Jeez.
Brush your teeth.
Yeah, I know, right?
You get to keep them that way.
Okay, let me move on. We're going to go on to his later life and legacy. So Diocles is famous not only for his obscene wealth, but because he lived, again, to retire at the age of 42. And again, like many charioteers died in their mid-20s.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned that earlier, but he really lucked out in that he didn't die.
It's incredible that he did not die.
Absolutely.
It makes you wonder, is it luck? Is it fate? Is it skill? Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Yeah, it really freaking is, man.
42, to be doing something with such a high death rate for that long?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mentioned this earlier as well. He took out his massive earnings and bought an expanse of land in the Italian countryside, which sounds beautiful.
Gorgeous. I want to do that.
God, it sounds like, I know, like, let's do that. Let's retire. After, like, when we retire, hopefully at the age of 42, we will buy an expanse of land in the Italian countryside.
I can live with that.
Yeah, me too. Especially, like, north of Ostia, like, on the coast.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
But really close to Rome still. Let's do it.
The best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds. Let's do it. So, yeah, he bought that. He made that cheddar, bought that land, and it's like in the near, like the small town of, I'm not going to say this right, Pareneste, which is modern day Palestrina.
Okay.
And there he lived out the remainder of his days in a very quiet life of ease. His son and daughter later erected a dedication to his name at the site.
That's so beautiful.
Really beautiful. Yeah.
So they must have liked him.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a given.
It's really not. So I have like kind of two insights into this.
Yes.
That I would really like to share because I think they're kind of interesting.
I mean, you do have a podcast where you can do that.
Curious.
Go ahead. I give you permission. Share your insights.
First, I don't think that his success could have really happened in any other time in Roman history.
Okay, I'm really interested to hear why.
So we are in the midst of Pax Romana,
yes,
and not only that, Diocles lived his entire life under the reign of some of the greatest emperors Rome has ever had.
And you mentioned Trajan.
Exactly. Trajan, Hadrian, Antonius Pius, most likely. And then if he lived a little bit longer, he would have reached into Marcus Aurelius as well.
Wow.
So his entire life only knew not only good emperors, but great emperors.
Right.
Like all of those emperors are, if not top 10, top 15, absolutely.
It's amazing how much, leadership, like at the very top, does impact, like, to, a certain extent, the everyday person's life.
Exactly.
Like, I guess it's just how interconnected we are in society and as a system. It makes so much sense that good leadership and something like Pax Romana would create more prosperous opportunities for people.
And he lived, not only was it like Pax Romana, he was in like the Pax Romana of Pax Romana. Like Mike Duncan in the History of Rome podcast, he said that life for a Roman in like the 150s AD under Antonius Pius was probably the best a Roman ever had it.
Okay.
So, like, and that was, like, his time period.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so he lived in, like, the perfect time for this.
That's definitely one of the time periods we'll go visit.
Yeah, I know. Like, there wasn't a year of, like, the 5 emperors, like, where there was, like, or, before when you had relative peace, and then there was, like, a year period where there was civil war until, like, Vespasian took over in 69 AD. Like, they didn't have any of that. It was just, like, Trajan died. Hadrian immediately took over as successor. No bloodshed. Seamless transition. Hadrian died.
Super dope dude.
Yeah, Hadrian died. Antonius Pius took over.
Yeah.
No bloodshed. Seamless transition.
Yeah, that is such a good point. Babe.
Yeah, and then Marcus Aurelius, same thing after him.
Wow.
So like it's very lucky.
Very wise leaders.
Yes, very wise leaders. And you know what's interesting about all of them? They did not pick their sons.
Of course.
In fact, actually, I don't think any of those people, until Marcus Aurelius, had male heirs, actually.
That's the key to success in life.
I know, it seems like it was. And then, of course, the one good emperor, or the one great emperor who does pick a son, that guy ends up screwing it all up.
Yep.
Hashtag thanks, Commodus.
Yeah. That's so interesting, just super, like, sidebar, but to have been an emperor, a Roman emperor, it must have actually, in a way, relieved pressure to not have a male heir.
Yeah. Because
you're like, phew, great, I get to actually pick someone that's competent and someone that I trust my empire with. I'm not pressured to pick my spoiled brat of a son who's gonna, like, rig fights to make it look like he's a glorious gladiator, Commodus.
Oh god, I know, it's so it's like so
cringy.
So cringy.
Yes, absolutely.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Get you a Zevia.
Okay, give me a Zevia. Yeah, that works too. So Second insight.
Yes.
Not only did Diocles take home his absurd winnings, he might have been actually the first athlete to create a brand name for himself. Like, again, this was unintentional, I'm sure.
Branding.
Yes, the concept of branding was not even something that he probably ever thought of consciously, but nonetheless, he was able to create an image for himself that his fans loved to adore.
How beautiful that to think, like you said, this is something he probably never consciously sat down and like planned out or whatever, like what we tend to do in society today. There's so much pressure around it. He probably just trusted his gut. Like
exactly.
In the same way that he probably did while he was racing. Mm-hmm. So he just had really good gut game.
He had great gut game.
Yeah, like I think listening to your intuition, it's there for a reason. It's not going to steer you wrong.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good insight into the good insight.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I've taken over Andrew's episode.
Yeah, this is just your TED Talk now.
This is my TED Talk on intuition.
So, and again, like this concept of branding was really important because it kept him relevant for over 2 decades. Like, imagine today, like, if you have an artist, an athlete that is relevant for 20 plus years, they're doing a hell of a job with branding, no matter how talented they are.
Like Beyonce.
Yes, like Beyonce, like Eminem, like you know, Kobe, rest in peace. LeBron James, more than likely.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, but you're right. They are doing it very cognizantly. They've got a whole team of people.
They have a PR, like, staff for them. This guy had himself, and that was it.
He's like,
He's like, this idea,
I'm just going to go with it.
Branding, patent pending. Just
they
kidding, they didn't have patents back then.
He could have taught a class at Annenberg at USC.
I know, seriously, he should have. Well, you know, that is my story of the richest athlete of all time, our boy Diocles. I hope that didn't bore you too much because, you know, it's about sports.
It was really good, and that's actually a pretty cool sport, unlike football.
I don't know what to say to you.
That was so much more interesting.
I know. My brain hurts from you, like, hating on football.
Oh, it's so slow. This racing would have been super fun to watch.
It would have been. I'm
Chariot
not gonna
racing?
lie. Yeah.
Really cool. And I love his technique of coming in from behind and winning at the last minute.
Yeah. And he, you know what's funny? I read that, like, he definitely, I think, did that on purpose because...
Of course.
A lot of the times, he would just, like, he would come out strong and literally just hold the lead for the entire race. But people didn't like that. So he was like, let me sabotage myself just a wee bit.
Yeah.
And then win from behind.
Because everyone likes an underdog, and it's boring and predictable if you're just kicking butt the entire time consistently.
Absolutely.
It, builds tension, it builds drama. So fascinating.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that story with us.
You know what? You're so welcome. I was glad to share this one. I love Rome, so...
Yeah.
Yes.
You got to sneak in some Rome and some sports.
Absolutely. Wow.
Rome, sports, weird history. This was the most Andrew episode of all.
Of course. And you know what? And speaking of Rome, if I may, I'm going to do a plug.
Yeah, go for it.
For my TikTok. I literally just started this today, guys.
Oh, yeah. Andrew has been teasing you and me that he's going to start our TikTok.
I know.
For History for Weirdos. But no, it's okay, babe. Tell them, what did you do instead?
So I started a TikTok about ancient Rome. I dress up as actually a Roman general, like full gear and everything. And my first video is already up. It's the top 5 Roman emperors. Not going to tell you I'm here. You're going to have to watch the video to know what I think of the top 5.
Tell them where they can follow you.
And you could follow me, thank you, at roma.omnia on TikTok.
There you go.
So again, that's Roma, ROMA .omnia, OMNIA.
Yep, if you want some fun, goofy ancient Rome specific TikTok content, please follow my husband.
Yes.
He's pretty cool. Also, TikTok is excessively addicting. We do.
Oh my God.
We will warn you of that. You get
Yes.
sucked in.
I felt like I went from being 80 to 18 in like 5 seconds because
Yeah.
I was like, what is this TikTok thing? And now I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like constantly scrolling through TikTok. I have never been like that with like social media. Sometimes I like mindlessly look at it. I'm like, oh, this is stupid and boring.
Yeah.
With TikTok, I'm like, yes, give me more. I'm addicted.
It's so smart the way the next video just starts automatically playing.
Yes. Oh my God.
It's very well designed. I will say that.
I know.
But enough about us rambling about our latest quarantine addiction.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of History for Weirdos. We're always so happy to share weird stories or unique stories or some of the obscure facts about history like today that you may not have heard in school. Please, please, please follow us at History for Weirdos on Instagram.
Yes.
You know, DM us, comment, anything that you want us to cover, any corrections you have for us. We want to hear it all. You can also email us if you have like a weird history story you want to share. You can email us at historyforweirdos@gmail.com.
You got it.
And we don't have a TikTok, but Andrew does, so.
Yeah, so follow me at roma.omnia. I don't. One day I will get this TikTok running.
We really want Stella, our dog, to be the star of History for Weirdos TikTok.
So if you have any ideas about that, actually,
Yeah.
we would love to hear them.
Yeah, please let us know. Stella is really cute, but she's also kind of an asshole.
She's such an. It's like that corgi like assholeness. Like
So
we love her.
hopefully that is. We sound like such great dog parents. Hopefully that inspires you to inspire us as to what to do with our dog.
Yes, thank you guys.
Thanks, weirdos.
Adios, weirdos.
Don't forget that your skin is your largest organ, and the sun can be your skin's worst enemy. Dermatologist recommended Neutrogena products offer the ultimate protection for your skin. From makeup remover wipes to Hydro Boost Water Gel Facial Moisturizer, BJ's has your entire lineup of Neutrogena skincare products. And now through December 3rd, save $4 on any Neutrogena product at BJ's. Love your skin back and save now through December 3rd, only at BJ's.
We all know a guy who only occasionally shaves for big occasions, and it's because that occasional shave really hurts. It's the time of year for big occasions, and yet there he is, suffering with that cheap drugstore razor. Let's help him out. Henson Shaving's line of razors, built with aerospace precision, deliver a smooth shave your dad, brother, and even son can enjoy, eventually. With replacement blades just 10 cents each, you'll buy it once, and they'll use it for life. How's that for the perfect gift? Celebrate with 100 free blades on your first purchase, and no subscription headaches. HensonShaving.com/holiday.